I thought I sort of maybe had seen it all until recently. I did have one of those encounters where I can say, this is it. I think I've had the greatest encounter with a wild animal in my life. As a child, growing up with the Inuit up in Baffin Island in the Arctic, I always sort of had this dream of someday walking through a forest with a bear, or just having that intimate encounter experience with a wild animal. And as a National Geographic photographer, I'm always looking for new stories, new adventures, new moments. And so I loaded up my 4x4, and I was driving up towards the Great Bear Rainforest of British Columbia, looking for this bear that lives here. And it's a pure white bear. It has a rare recessive gene. And I waited for 2 months on this isolated river in the rain from dark to dark every day. And finally, the last 10 days of the shoot, I see this big white bear in the forest, and I watch him, and he comes down to the river, and I sort of hid down by a big log. And as he came to the water, he not only walked to the river, but he walked up the very log that I was leaning against. And he grabbed a fish and went off in the forest. And so I put on my wide-angle lens, followed him into the forest, and I started to photograph him eating the salmon. And then he came up to these big old-growth red cedar trees, and he went to lay down. And I went up to him, I was 2 feet away, foot away, and I'm clicking away, making all this noise. And it was the first time he really acknowledged me. He opened up his eyes, sort of reared up like this, and went smack. He hit my camera like that, and he curled up his paws, and he went back to sleep, right in the same spot. Put my camera down and just sat there with him for an hour. And for me, that was one of my great moments in life, for sure.